peeps. Welcome to Old Sturbridge Village in Sturbridge, Massachusetts, and the premier event of the year, Redcoats and Rebels. This is a massive Revolutionary War reenactment, encampment, village setup, and we're going to go through it, take a look, hopefully see some friends, learn some cool stuff, and enjoy a beautiful afternoon in Sturbridge, Massachusetts. Now, Old Sturbridge Village is actually a 19th century village, historic buildings that have all been moved to this area to recreate New England in the early 1800s. But this time of year, it turns into the 18th century as the 1700s in Massachusetts is recreated. And check out this cool art installation. This is a brand new thing that they just opened. They have several of these painted cows throughout the village, and they're all different, done by different local artists with different themes. Cool thing too is that Old Sturbridge Village is the largest open-air living history museum in all of New England. And you know I always talk about soaking in the vibes. If it is vibes you are looking for, this event is awesome. Just look at this. You really feel like you have stepped through time and wound up in 18th century New England. And it's so cool because there are tons of units here from all over the area, and you have different Minuteman groups, different militias, Redcoats and Rebels. So of course you have the Continentals and the British, and we're going to take a look at all of that, see what else they have going on. This is going to be good. This is just a regular little house, kind of showing how your average farmer or worker bee would be living in early America in this part of New England. Great example of that there. Here, so we've got vendors selling 18th century wares. We have stepped inside this 1832 meeting house. Meeting houses would have been the central life of early New England and early America. Oftentimes they were shared by congregations, so that's why they're not necessarily always named a certain church. You would have several denominations using them for multiple services. You still have the rented pew box, as was customary for any house of worship, but this place could have also held important town meetings, and they were often used to organize. I mean, the most extreme example of this, of course, is the Old South. If you guys watched my amazing video of the commemorative ceremony we went to there for the Bunker Hill Monument, that is kind of like an epic example of that. This is a very basic country type meeting house that would have been common in New England right here. Not as much adornment, but definitely would have been central in the lives of the people that lived around here. Of course, any early American town is going to have a cemetery, graveyard nearby. Ignore the porta potties in the background. But definitely they would typically be next to the place of worship. Yes, there are miles and miles of trails too if you should decide to do that. And we keep saying that we're going to come back here in the fall, and we just haven't made it. We actually haven't been here for a while, so we didn't come to this event last year. That's why there wasn't a vlog for it. We came the year before, and we were like, we need to get back, but this was 2 hours from our house. Sturbridge, Massachusetts, by the way. We are right near the Connecticut border, kind of in southwest Massachusetts, more west than we usually hang out anyways, and so it's not like this is exactly close. But you know what? We did go ahead and buy a membership, and that gets us into something called NARM, which is the North American Reciprocal Museum Association, which is awesome. And I kind of did it for you guys too, because the cool thing about getting a pass that participates in NARM is that it allows you to get into hundreds of museums, historic societies, and events across North America. And kind of like our New Hampshire Museum Passport times 10, this thing gets you in as many times as you want once you've paid for it. And just to give you an idea, we got the family pass and that was $130 for the year, but that bad boy is going to pay for itself as we continue to adventure and go places, and it'll open up a world of possibility for this channel too, as far as more places that we can go and see and enjoy. So looking forward to all that. What are you guys working on?
I'm working on chair parts for a high chair I'm going to make.
Oh!
It's going to be the same style as this, a Windsor, but a version for a baby. Foot-powered lathe to do the shaping of various posts for the top and eventually the legs and stretchers. So in general, we're doing mostly furnishings, but other stuff as well. We're doing some handles for hammers as well, which is something somebody in the village will definitely need.
Yeah.
The cabinet maker is predominantly a furniture maker. So
cool.
Other people need it.
Yeah.
Treadle days, so foot operated. One that takes a little getting used to. You do have to kind of pump your feet, work with your hands, and gives you a workout as well. Very handy to have.
Oh yeah, that's like the early 19th century thigh master right there.
Yeah, something like that. It's a part that will fit into another part, so the final fitting I'll do afterwards with other tools, but I want to get it close. And I've got the piece of pine for the seat of the chair, which is came from our sawmill. We have a water power mill where some of the lumber we used was cut. The parts I'm using here on the lathe, as well as things like these spindles here, they were from trees we cut down and split, so they were not milled at all. They were split, and you'll see behind the shelf a variety of logs and different stages of being split up. They're trees we cut down right here in the village. So a few different sources for our wood. This is some cherry I'm working with now, a wood that I really like turning. It's also what's used for this chair. So cherry is an attractive wood. It's really a local alternative to a much fancier wood, mahogany, which was very fashionable for a very long time, but it was also very expensive. Well, still is. It was coming from very far away in the tropical region. So cherry was kind of a commonly used local alternative in this area. Use a lot of woods.
Now the cool thing about time travel to this era is that things were a lot cheaper. I mean, inflation has always been a thing, but you guys know I was telling you about how groceries are like $100 a bag. I think you could get a lot more for your money here. So kind of funny, she was talking with me about fabrics and how similarly to housewares, you know, there's different levels of quality, and within that quality you would get different prices. What's funny about that is that she used the example of buying fine fabrics from England and wool from Scotland, and how it was much more expensive than the lesser fabrics from other places. And I had to laugh because I'm wearing a dress that came from England, and you know, Caleb rocks the kilts, and we buy a lot of wool from Scotland, and that stuff is not cheap. You get what you pay for now, just like you did then. So I just had a chuckle because I thought, you know, some things never change. I could have bought a dress from Walmart made in China that maybe would have lasted, maybe it wouldn't have, I don't know, maybe it was even somewhat cute, but instead I am wearing this dress that came from a vintage reproduction company out of England, and it's really, really nicely made, and it was kind of the same then. If you were just working, I mean, I wouldn't wear this working on the farm. I wear it out for like a nicer occasion, and some of those truths are still today, so I just thought that was personally kind of funny. Oh boy, here's the Highland Regiment. And this is His Majesty's 74th Highland Regiment of Foot. Of course, the English part of the British military loved to send the Highlanders forward, and often in a battle they would be in the front lines with their bagpipes, so everyone could see them in their kilts, hear their bagpipes, and sadly oftentimes they were the first to get picked off. How convenient.
The boxes came with the stack of arms. So when you got your issued musket, it came with one of those, a waist belt, a bayonet frog, a bayonet scabbard, and a bayonet and your musket. That was considered to be part of the stack of arms. So chances are when the 74th got their muskets, they would have also been given, for each man, a box, a bayonet, and a waist belt, and a bayonet scabbard.
So we were drawing the comparison in the store there, and I was talking with the lovely lady in there about fabric quality, and she made me laugh because she said, oh yeah, you know, fabrics even then, of course, you would have different prices according to where they came from.
Right.
And she singled out Scottish wool, and I had a good chuckle because my husband being a kilt wearer himself and me selling kilts for a living, being a historian and specializing in 18th century America, British and Scottish, I thought that was pretty funny, especially since I know that those diced hose you're wearing, for instance, still very expensive.
Yeah, and these are woven and then they're sewed. They're cut to shape.
Yeah.
And sewed. They're not stretchy. They're not pipe in. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They're not like the standard La Caron kilt hose you can
No,
buy.
no, and it's the same thing. This plaid material here
Yep.
is a slightly different dye lot than that one.
Yeah.
Yes, the blues and that are a little bit brighter.
Yeah.
That's more accurate to the period.
Mm-hmm.
This was an earlier batch. I actually have a plaid in this as well. But I made a little kilt out of this.
Yeah.
And it's just, again, it's the most simplest thing.
Yeah.
Just drawn together in the back. You know, basically, it's what a lot of people would call a knife pleat today.
Yep.
It's nothing fancy. Yes, you look at 18th century kilts, and some of them that are still in existence were box pleated.
Yeah.
But a lot of times when the men started to wear little kilts, sometimes they weren't even sewn. What it was a draw cord that was put through half a plaid.
Yeah.
And you basically stood up with this draw cord, you wrapped the material around you, you knotted it at the waist, and then you took the back and just kind of gathered it back behind you.
Yeah.
The same way that you would do with a plaid. I mean, if you lay down on a plaid with a belt underneath and you stand up, it's going to be pretty much in place, but then you got to, as you know, you got to tighten, you got to straighten, you got to push to get things right.
He owns a great kilt and honestly doesn't rock it that much, and his is in ancient Campbell. You're wearing the Black Watch,
Right.
which is also, you know, not so loosely related to Clan Campbell as well, but official.
Well, that's the 74th, where all the officers are Campbell.
Yeah.
Like my wife would, when she came out, she had an hour set,
Yeah.
and it was Campbell of Argyle
Yeah.
that she wore.
I wear one in
Short kilt.
McFarland.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep. Beautiful.
Right.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, this stuff, it's still spendy. Well, here, that's the most adorable little thing I've seen in a long time. Look at this guy. How cute. And this is the other thing that's cool. I mean, you get to come, you get to see an event, an encampment, and you get to go in a whole bunch of historic buildings. So it really is fun for everybody, and you get to see a lot at once, and makes it kind of a good value, too. Nothing saying what year this house was built or when it's from. Looks maybe mid to late 18th century. Not really sure. This is very strange. We came upstairs and we're just like in the attic, and it's very rough, and then all of a sudden there's like a finished bedroom. This is really weird. And again, no signage. Don't know whose house this was or when it's from. Guessing mid to late 18th. Another finished bedroom. Interesting. And this cow's titled Milk and Cookies. It's very cool. It's got the deck written all over it. So you can see there, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that are endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights. It's cool. I like when places do these. It's like the horses in Lexington. It's fun. Stepped inside the printer's office. Pretty impressive. And the ability to print the written word is quite a gift, and this stuff always fascinates me. Look at what it takes, having to constantly change out every letter, every bit of punctuation, the different type sets. With each individual key, put it on those presses were very heavy and taxing to work. It required great physical strength, probably a good bit of emotional stamina too, to create something cool like this. This is probably where I would have been hanging out.
Well, Chinese certainly were one of the forefronts of it, but it seems like every society had some version of it. It's also interesting how paper is made from so many different fiber and products. So we need to dry it out. So that's the best way to dry it.
So you said before it took 18 hours. So does that mean that they couldn't have daily newspapers?
No. Yeah, that's a real misnomer. Believe it, this is an original newspaper from 1836. Took 2 weeks to make this. Don't ask me why they call it daily.
It had news for every day of those 2 weeks.
I guess when it came out it was daily.
Okay, but it wasn't like current.
No.
So the original fake news is the fake news.
So, Dad, what happened 3 weeks ago?
Well, the drying process is the same.
That's funny. And the property itself is just beautiful. And that's what I'm saying. Definitely gonna want to come back in either the fall or the winter or both. They do a really cool holiday program here. And I think this place would be so beautiful in the snow. Definitely what they call, Instagrammable. Just because the vibes are so good. It's aesthetically pleasing. And some poor mule would be hooked up to this thing. He would walk around it. It would run the press just so people could get cider. I don't know. Maybe the mule liked to work. Maybe they gave it breaks. Maybe it was a happy mule. Does that mule look happy? I hope so. Everything took work, man. Lots and lots of work. That's another good point. As much as I'm like, I'd love to time travel, I want to go back to the 18th century. I would like to go back to certain points. I don't know that all the working aspect of having to do everything by hand necessarily appeals to me. And here is a map of old Sturbridge Village. As you can see, we are right here. And it's a big place. You could definitely make a day of this. So this is where we came in over here. And we walked around like this. And we must have gone through the center and wound up here. So we still have some more to explore. Whoa, look at that cool dude.
The rock and roll.
That is a rock and roll cow, man. That is so funny. Here we go, the fun building. Crazy looking helmet. It's like a graduation cap on top of it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Fashion over function, I guess so. You guys look at this. Here is a tie-in to our friend General Casimir Pulaski. Remember when we went to Savannah and talked all about him and his significance during the Rev War? Well, he continued to inspire, and into the 19th century was the Pulaski Guards, named after Casimir Pulaski. Of course, he was the young Polish gentleman who came and fought so hard for us, sadly lost his life during the siege of Savannah. And apparently, he could do a mean quick step. Here is the coat of an Irish volunteer from Boston, 1837. You can just look at that and know that is inspired by the Emerald Isle. Signage says that they were known and praised for walking in very complete and dignified rows, and that they were very thorough, organized, and quite an impressive group of men. It's the craziest looking thing. I guess it was made here in Massachusetts, and it is a revolver rifle. Look at that thing. So it has the revolver mechanism there, but look at the barrel.
Why not?
This is how they would create the rifle. Inside.
What they did.
They fired 7 rounds.
How long?
That looks really heavy.
7-barrel volley weapon.
Look at the end of the barrel on that. Look how wide that is.
Yeah, to fire all 7 out.
That is very unusual. And we're not talking grape shot. This is bullets. Henry Harrington was a cutler who began making a wide variety of blades in Southbridge, Massachusetts in 1818. While he spent most of his time working in the cutlery trade, Harrington was also an accomplished and innovative gunsmith. In 1837, he received a patent for a 7-barrel volley gun with a removable breech block that contained 7 chambers. The gun fired all 7 simultaneously. The Army turned down the cumbersome gun down in favor of a more reliable single shot. But Harrington continued to develop other innovative firearms. That is crazy. I bet that's fun to shoot. That was really cool to see a lot of the local guns, and the interesting one, that Harrington gun that shot 7 was, I've never seen anything like that. That's really cool. So, and I don't think that was open last time we came, because I would have remembered those. But yeah, busy day. No, that is funny. And I think I've told you guys before that I've got this thing with butter. The thing being that I love it, which I know, it's not great. But I've always had this thing for butter, and when I was a kid, I famously climbed up on the table and ate a whole stick, and my mother found me having just devoured an entire stick of butter, and she called the pediatrician, and he said, well, she might have a stomach ache. She should be fine. There's really nothing that can like cause permanent harm. And I was completely unscathed. I didn't even get a stomach ache, so I could eat that whole cow of butter. And apparently there's sheep in there, but they're hiding. This place is pretty crazy though, right guys? I mean, look, there's like so much going on, and you've got the reenactment and the buildings, like I said. It's really cool, and definitely this was a good motivator. Now that we are members, we will be coming back and checking out some of the events in the future. Finally, some signage. This house was built in 1796 in Charlton, Massachusetts for prosperous farmer and merchant Salem Towne and his family. It's kind of a cool name, Salem Towne. Its architecture is a rural interpretation of Adam or Federal style. And this is one of the ones that they moved here to Old Sturbridge Village. Okay, I can already see this is a large home. Hi! This is a large home.
It certainly is. Mr. Towne was a prosperous farmer, Major General in the militia, timberlands in Maine, apple orchards. Yeah.
Cool. So this house is being representative of the 1830. This lovely docent just told me. And we're going to step into a room behind us in a second and see a portrait of the man who got to live here in this very much lap of luxury. Wow, talk about change of pace, going from a very common farmhouse to this could be like, you know, one of the grand house tours that we take. And again, you see there's a lot of value in coming to an event like this, because I mean, there are days when we just go and tour homes like this, and here you can tour a whole bunch of them and see all kinds of other things all in one place. So definitely worth it. And there is Mr. Salem Towne hanging above his fireplace for all eternity. She was saying that this house is really known for these fantastic original murals, and thank God for the murals, because it really made the house in the eyes of, you know, conservators and in the eyes of Old Sturbridge Village worth saving. Love these creaky floors. Sure what's going on with the creepy all-seeing eye above the ceiling? Interesting. This is impressive. This was the ballroom, which makes sense. It is a big, long space.
But you can, it's a bedroom over here.
Yeah, and you could close this off. This is cool. They've got these doors that actually would slide. Just really unusual for an 18th century home. And you could close it off, and you've got a room here. That is really cool. Here is the portrait of his son in this lovely east parlor room. Oh, and also this was a mortuary for a long time after they lived in it, so. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Yeah. This was a really nice home for the time. I mean, you could see a lot of wealth. This was not for normies. Stepped inside what they're calling the tavern, but here is some beautiful mourners needlework. This is cool because it is kind of showing us what each of bits of symbolism mean. And when I've taken you guys to cemeteries, I've pointed some of these things out, and they're carried through here through this lovely artwork. So the urn, symbolic bed for the departed. They provided a tangible way to remember the deceased, becoming a focal point for memories and tribute. Weeping willow, a common symbol of grief, sorrow, and mourning, often intertwined with themes of healing and renewal, which suggests that even loss, there is potential for growth and new beginnings. So that's just a couple of the things that you'll commonly see in imagery on mourners' art, mourning jewelry, and on headstones themselves. This one is very, very cool. This is circa 1820. Mourning picture crafted with needlework, pen, and ink on silk, shows a family of 11 gather around the tomb of William Card, Revolutionary War veteran. And this exhibit is called Mourning Through Textiles. This is titled The Tears of America, a George Washington commemorative handkerchief from 1800. This handkerchief displays two women mourning beside an urn. Around the handkerchief of 10 verses that pay tribute to the nation's first president. Lafayette ribbon. Very, very cool. Got Lady Liberty there. Brings us to the more taverny section of the tavern. Public notice is up here. His Excellency above the fireplace. The bar itself.
Look at that fire mantle.
I know. Again, if you guys want to come and put on some comfy walking shoes, which is not what I have on right now necessarily, there are tons of trails to explore. It's quite scenic. Isn't there like a covered bridge at one point? There's a covered bridge somewhere too, isn't there?
Yeah.
There is the covered bridge. This is the path we were on before when I got bit by bugs, but this time I'm armed with bug spray. So hopefully they don't get me. Let's see, there's more going on down here. Lots and lots to explore. It's kind of Colonial Williamsburg-ish in that, you know, you're in the total bubble of historic buildings and things, and the escapism is there, where they've recreated a complete village. Although, of course, Colonial Williamsburg is real in the sense that those buildings were there and are what they are and were what they were, if that makes sense. Hope you guys know what I'm trying to say. There are more than 40 historic buildings on this property, which opened in 1946, so it has been serving as a historic living history open-air museum for many years now. And I think this event, Redcoats and Rebels, it's been around since either 2006 or 2009. I can't remember, it's one of those. This is really pretty. We hear you, but we don't see you.
The wood stays hot for 20 minutes.
And then you just put the rings around.
The hoops, these big heavy hoops, are what we bend it with. I hammer them down to the ground, to the floor, so it starts tight in the middle, and as I hammer that down, it's going to start bending those in. And I keep using progressively smaller hoops and hammering them down. I just can't fix it anymore. I've been fixing it for years.
How old is it?
It's got to be 40, 50 years old.
Oh my gosh, I think it has done its job.
So this one here is, we'll replace that one, and then I'll have to make a couple more because we have a lot of cider barrels. We do cidering here every year.
Yeah.
And every year we have to try to fix the barrels. But, you know, I've made gunpowder kegs like that one and nail kegs, and I've probably made about 20 or 30 barrels in the last 6 years. Horses, it's got a wide opening so the horse can put his snout in there and drink from it.
Oh yeah.
Water bucket for the horses. And this one here, just a water bucket for carrying water. This is a well bucket. So I mean, everything's got its own function, its own type of wood. That's a milk bucket over there. different type of wood too. They're all different functions, different way of putting it all together, but it's pretty much the same basic science, with the exception of barrels. Barrels is the pinnacle of coopering. It's kind of the Rubik's Cube of coopering, especially if you're trying to make a liquid tight barrel. It's a difficult thing to do. So.
And I mean, it has through time been a lucrative trade.
And it's been around for 4,000 years.
Yeah. Oh boy. Signs that fall is coming.
It's squash.
I see squash, possibly pumpkins as well. Oh yeah, there's pumpkins. Oh yeah. Oh boy. I feel like, oh, definitely a pumpkin. Here's the thing. We just got summer in New England because we had a very long, crappy winter and a long, even crappier spring. It's just now feeling like summer, and I get the feeling that just as we're getting that, fall is coming, which is my favorite season, but I'm not exactly ready to let go of summer yet. Love this one. Speaking of fall, there's a piggy. See the pig ears? And all that piggy mud. I found a piggy window down to the little piggy bed in the little piggy hut. Those are some big fat piggies.
Trying to get that water.
I once again hear the distant sounds of fife and drum calling to me. Always a good thing. It's a pottery kiln. And what, pray tell, is this?
It's a two-seater.
So you want to hang out and have a chit-chat? That's just awkward.
Candia, New Hampshire.
No way! This is from Candia?
Yep, that's what
They
it
moved
says.
this thing all the way from Candia? That's over by us. Crazy. Oof, this is one moldy old schoolhouse. Wow, look at the stove in the center. And these very primitive looking desks, imagine. And you would have had all ages in here. One teacher in all ages, and the teacher would stand here, and if you were naughty, you could get a lashing or a dunce cap, which certainly wouldn't have happened to me. Now Kay, on the other hand, definitely. Well, this is very cool and something you don't always see at these. Now, what kind of feather?
Turkey feather, eagle feather, any one of the two. Whatever we could get.
Plenty of turkeys around here, that's for dang sure.
Go ahead, pick it up. Grab it by the hoof. Give it a good shake. Yeah, we use that as, for dancing ceremonies. Medicine men would use it for their healing ceremonies. Now, if you take a look at the turtle shell, those big squares, not those squares, turn it over. Those big squares, 13 squares, 13 months. The little squares, 28 squares, 28 days. So there's actually 28 days in a month, 13 months in a year. That is the universal lunar calendar.
Oh.
We no longer follow that. That's why everything's so screwed up.
True. Very, very cool. This guy is... I said, you don't see a lot of your representation here. And he said, that's why I'm doing this. So props to him for coming out here and showing what the Indigenous experience would have been.
And so I'm portraying an occupation that a woman back in the colonial days could have. It's
Yes.
called a layer out of the dead.
Oh, fun.
So she could advertise in the local newspaper, but she would want to be hired.
Sure.
She would come into the family's home, and she would be responsible for taking care of the body. So what that entailed was fully washing the body. So I have just a pail of water, a scrap of linen, homemade soap. Every family would have made their own soap in those days.
Would that be lye based?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, potash and lye, I believe.
Yep. Cool.
So the body would be fully washed. Now, in the hot summer months only, an incision would be made over the abdomen, and certain organs would be removed. And the reason for this is the organs are full of fluid. They're going to decompose faster because of that. And then with the heat, that's going to just add to the problem. So they did that just during the hot summer months. In spring and fall and winter, that wasn't necessary.
Wow.
So she would want to make sure that the mouth was closed. So this is just a strip of linen that's affixed under the chin, tied off at the top of the head. Another method, very practical, a Y-shaped stick. You prop that under the chin, and the bottom of the stick would rest on top of the sternum, and that would also help keep the mouth closed. She would want to make sure that the eyes are closed and that they stay closed.
How would you do that?
Very simply.
Okay.
The weight of 2 inexpensive coins. When you close the eyes, put the coins on top, and that weight will help keep the eyelids closed.
I got that same problem.
So the body would not be dressed in clothing before being placed in the coffin. Clothing was very expensive, and clothing was something that the family repurposed in the house for other family members. So the body would be shrouded or wrapped in a sheet. This is a sheet of linen. That was a common shrouding, and the wool cloth was also common for shrouding. So they would leave the face exposed. There would be like a viewing, so to speak. It would just be the face. So neighbors and family would be invited into the home to see the deceased. They would wait at least 3 days before the burial occurs. And the reason is because they had a terrible fear of being buried alive. So they figured on the 3rd day, if the person didn't wake up, they were good to go, for the burial. And consequently, the term wake that we use today for going to a funeral home, a wake at a funeral home, it stems from that time frame.
Yeah. I have this funny thing whenever I hear this music and I'm walking towards it, I feel like it's hard not to walk and beat. Makes me a little self-conscious. It pulls you in and I feel like I'm walking in time to it. Lame. I don't care what year it is, I love a steak dinner. That's yummy.
You're with her?
Yeah.
I'd watch her if I was you. Come on. You know how to do this.
So did you have severely traumatic injuries today, I see?
Oh yeah, we had some.
Yeah. How did the patients fare?
Patient fared fine.
That's good.
I lost 1.
Okay. Only. Well, that's not bad. All I can hear is Star Wars never tell me the odds. 18th century medicine, gotta love it. The 1st New Hampshire has left the building. The lights are on. Nobody's home. Just us. New Hampshire, where are you? You only have me to represent you and you're gone. I will do it. And here we've got the 5th Connecticut Regiment. Very nice setup. Do you guys hear that? Bagpipes.
I mean, that's in our spirit. We've done it how many times? We did it with William Pitt.
Right.
In the 1600s. Then we did it then. Then we tried, we tried the 2-pronged attack on Montreal and Quebec.
Yep.
And then in 1812, we're like, hey,
let's
try it again.
Oh,
Didn't
boy.
work. And then after the Civil War, the Irish veterans were like, hey,
Let's try it again.
Right.
Still hasn't worked.
Yeah, and this coming one,
The Fenians.
not good.
Yeah, yeah.
Not successful.
Yeah. Oh no. So the American invasion is ultimately not successful.
No.
Although the attack and siege of Saint Jean, the fort at Saint Jean, is successful.
Yeah.
And they move further north to Montreal, but they never actually take Montreal.
Yeah.
I believe, so. And then of course we also know that Quebec turns into a complete
And it took
disaster.
an Irishman to take Saint Jean.
That's correct. It did.
Yeah, that was a fun one. And part of the fun is seeing familiar faces from events gone by and making those connections. And again, if you're a reenactor, thank you so much. We appreciate you. We love you. Thanks for coming out and doing these things and bringing history to life. It takes all of us together. The teamwork makes the dream work. I think we were the last guests here. Everyone else is part of the encampment. So we hung out, which is always fun. Really glad we bought the membership and are back on track, part of NORM again. In the past, we have had that through different things we try every year to buy memberships, different places to spread the love around. And like I said, it will get us into a ton of places, not only in the United States, but actually in Canada as well, which is kind of funny. We were just talking about Quebec a while ago because battles will be moving up there very soon. Not sure if we're going to make it. It'd be cool if we could. But the NARM Pass, and this is all across the country, so no matter where you guys live, you can go on the website. It's NARM is the acronym, and find a museum near you where you can buy a membership. It just has to be at the $100 level and up, and it gets you into hundreds of museums across North America. Definitely worth it. And what a beautiful day and gorgeous night here in Sturbridge, Massachusetts. I'm that history chick, and like Patrick Henry, I know no way of judging the future but by the past. Gage here with me. Can you believe it? Who ever thought I'd be this cozy with General Gage?
At your service.
Things happen. Take care, guys. See you soon. When it's all said and done, this is what it's really about. We're the last ones here. Look it, we closed this place down. Hardcore. It's just us, a couple straggly workers, and the reenactors. What a fun day.